Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to walk through the fight and break down the strategy that I used to defeat Kang-Jin Loong. This is one of the first major bosses that you'll come across in Chapter 3 of Black Myth. But starting off, just quickly going through the skills that I focused on, the upgrades that I have, and the equipment and whatnot, so you kind of have an idea of what I'm using here. So nothing crazy in terms of equipment. I'm using the Fireproof Mantle at the beginning, I'll show that, but just to get some initial focus buildup. The Wandering White skill as part of a combo that I use. I've got the Wind Bear Staff, and then I've got the full Gale Guard armor set. So nothing too crazy there, but for the skills and the upgrades that I have, so this is kind of where the strategy comes into play a bit more. Starting off, I'm using Smash Stance. So you can see the upgrades that I have here. I've got pretty much everything on the left upgraded, and then just the primary heavy charge upgrades for the Smash Stance. And then looking at Foundation, I've got a couple of things in Stamina. I've got all of these martial arts upgraded. And then the main thing that I want to call out is that I have Spiritual Awakening fully upgraded. So this is going to give us a bunch more mana so that we can take advantage of Immobilize as much as possible. So this is going to give us a nice amount of charges for Immobilize that'll stop the boss and kind of avoid his movement and making sure his hitbox is in an accessible place and things like that. So I've got a couple upgrades there, and that's kind of it in terms of the upgrades. So the strategy here is kind of going to be using light attack combos where possible, but trying to get in heavy attack, charged heavy attacks, and then taking advantage of Immobilize as much as possible. So we'll take a look at that as we go through and look at the fight. All right, so now going through the actual fight, walking through my strategy, which I think worked pretty well. The first thing I do is I pop that Vessel, which is going to give me about 2 focus points almost going into the beginning of the fight. So that does, as you can see in the bottom right portion of the screen, it takes a while to charge. So I just kind of hang out at the edge of the lake for a little bit before I actually go in to kind of just take in the view for a couple seconds. Once it has about 1 point of focus done, then I start walking in. By the time you get there, it's going to be completely done. So this first part, pretty predictable, pretty much the same thing every time. He's going to fly around, eventually he'll come land, and he's going to do 2 twirls, and then on his second twirl, he'll charge at you. So here he comes. There's kind of 2 main patterns you'll see here. Typically, he just does the 2 twirls, but after his first twirl, he'll sometimes do 3 lightning strikes, as you can see here in another example. So if you just start running horizontally, pretty easy to avoid. But then after that, he'll do his second twirl and then charge at you. So now going back to the original fight that we're looking at. So first off, he's going to do his second twirl and charge at us. So we want to dodge out of the way of that, obviously. You don't need to get a perfect dodge based on what I'm doing. There's really no benefit to that. But what we're going to do is dodge the attack and then immediately start charging our weapon so we get 3 focus points. And then his head will spin around, so kind of keep track of his head locked on. And you're going to want to circle around and get that first charged heavy attack in. So we can see that here. So he charges at us. I'm going to charge my weapon, circle around. He circles around as well, get to his head, and get that charged attack. And then I'm immediately going to follow that up with an Immobilize, and then I'm going to get in a light attack combo. So some really good initial damage at the beginning of the fight here. And then immediately after that, we are going to run away. So this is a really big arena, so we can take advantage of that spacing and get as much distance from the boss as possible. That's going to make his next couple moves a lot easier to deal with. So I'm going to switch to another example of a fight that I did with him that has a couple better examples. As we can see here, he'll start with these 3 lightning strikes as we run away. And then we get some distance from him. He's going to do the twirl attack and charge at us. And again, because we're so far away, pretty easy to dodge. Then he'll do this little stagger move, which is just kind of annoying. It doesn't hurt you really or anything. And then next, as we stop here, this is kind of the next important aspect of the strategy. So this is his next move that he'll do, where he will fly up, slam down with 2 hands. We can start the fight here. He'll fly up, slam down with 2 hands, tornado up, and then dive down. So we want to dodge and then immediately start spamming another light attack combo. If you're locked onto his head, by the time he finishes that up, you can see we got a hit in. So watching that again. Slam down, tornadoes up, dives down, dodge, start doing light attack combo, and right as he wraps it down round, you get that final hit in, which is going to get some damage as well as some focus build up. So the next move you can see there, if we take a look at that here in a second, I can go over that one. He will slam down with his left hand, or right hand and then left hand, and then he slams down with his back foot, spins around, and then does a little fire breath. That's easy to dodge. I just didn't hit the button, I think. But you can dodge through that fire. Then he does another twirl again. Dodge that like normal. This is another attack that he does with his hand. So he's got the left hand will glow, and then he'll swipe with the right hand. So looking at that again. Left hand, and then right hand. So you can dodge out of that. You can maybe get in a couple hits on his face there after that as well. Kind of an opportunity with that move. So this is the move we're looking for right here. So this is where we're going to be able to stagger him into phase 2. So looking at that again, this is what we're looking for, is that swipe range attack with his hand, and then the tail slam. So this opens up a combo that we can do on his tail, and that's going to stagger him into phase 2. And this also allows us to get a huge damage combo in. So what I do here, as you can see, I was fortunate enough with those extra hits to get 4 focus. So I get in a huge focus charged attack in. I immobilized him, and then also followed that up with the head slam of the white. So now back to the original fight. Same setup. We're running away after those first 2 main opening attacks. Did the 3 lightning strikes, does the twirl and the charge, follows that up with the stagger, and then he is going to do the 2-hand slam tornado up, as we can see here. So slam, slam, tornado up, and then he's going to dive down, dodge, start doing that light attack combo. You don't get all your hits in, but again, we finish that up with the final hit, which is important. Get some focus. So here, the reason why I showed that other example primarily was because this fight, I got really lucky, and he immediately just goes into that move that we're looking for, where he slams his hand down, does the projectile, and then does the tail slam. So you can see, does the hand projectile, slams down. So we just got really lucky. Immediately go into the light attack combo on the tail. I don't have those opportunities to build up 4 focus, but same kind of concept, just a 3 focus hit instead. Follow that up with a couple light attack combo hits, immobilize to get some more time in. And then as I run out of stamina, just finish it up with that white head slam. So you can see here, now we're in phase 2 technically, and he's already almost getting up to 2/3 of his health gone. With those combos that we've been able to do. So going into phase 2, kind of the same strategy of taking advantage of the big arena and having a lot of spacing. So you can see here we're really far away. He's doing that fire breath attack, and it has no impact on us. So a lot of running around for the first part of this, primarily because he's doing these long duration attacks like this with this lightning all over the place. So just kind of running around for a while randomly, and you can avoid most of those, which is good because that's giving us time for our immobilize spell to refresh. You can see that's almost ready to go again. So once that's ready to go, I'm waiting for a good opportunity, again, being patient for his head to be in a good spot. So then use the immobilizer again to get a light attack combo in. Again, being really conservative and patient in this phase, since we did so much damage in the first phase. So he's got a couple new attacks. There's a tail slam. He's got a couple fire breath attacks. There's a hand slam attack. So here's one of his 360-degree fire breath attacks. But really, I'm just trying to keep spacing, which makes a lot of these attacks easier to avoid. And I'm waiting for either 2 things mainly. One is for my immobilize to refresh again. As you can see, because of my upgrades that I used, I've got a ton of mana. I still have half my mana left, so plenty for a couple more immobilizes. Or he has another tail slam attack that we're looking for that will allow us to stagger him into phase 3. So you can see here, I'm just kind of taking my time, again, looking for that tail slam attack to stagger him into phase 3. Unfortunately, I don't actually get it in this fight. He does do this attack, which is not what we're looking for, but by this time, my immobilize has refreshed again for one more use, so I go ahead and use that instead, and then follow that with a light attack combo, which is enough to stagger him into phase 3. But we'll go ahead and look at another fight example that actually does have the attack, so you can see what it looks like. Very similar to the other one, he slams his hand down, does the projectile, and then spins around with his tail and slams down. And again, just like the other one, quickly go in, do a light attack combo on his tail, and that's going to stagger him into phase 3. And then for this last phase, kind of the strategy there is just use our Red Tides transformation and try and finish up the fight with that. Just kind of mindlessly spamming attacks, hoping to do as much damage as possible with that. As we go back to the actual fight that where we win, we're here doing the stagger into phase 3, again transforming immediately into Red Tides transformation, and you can see his health is already almost completely gone, so just using that to kind of finish things up and getting as much damage done as possible. So not really anything too groundbreaking there, just kind of mindlessly spamming attacks, hoping to finish up the fight. I think I get to like a sliver of health left before I transform back here in a second. So after that happens, now I'm transformed back, just kind of being careful just to get one more hit in, just to finish things up. And there you go, boss defeated. So I will go ahead and post have the full fight in its entirety after this, if you want to go ahead and watch through that now that we've kind of gone through the strategy that I used. I think it worked fairly well for this fight and made things a little bit more simple. So hopefully this helps if you're struggling with this boss, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.